got the third! And Burundi now surely into the final. The hat-trick hero once again.
Well, game over. Game over, isn't it? One end of the pitch, straight up the other end. One team lacking the ability to finish. The other team's showing that ability every time they go into the box.
He had so much time here. Goes for the near post. Puts it in.
Fullback running past the ball here. You know he's got one foot. He doesn't have a left. He comes back in on his left foot actually and finishes that one. It should always be showing him outside, showing him to the line. You've allowed him to take that step back in. Yeah, he's found space at the near post.
Well, I'm afraid that you think is going to be, and just think, 30 seconds earlier, Bangladesh should have really pulled one back to make it 2-1. Here's Saad now, but 10 minutes to go.
Have to be careful here. Saad's on a bit of a mission. He's just clipped two players and got away with it. There's the retaliation coming in for Saad's tackles.
Never know, they've just got to keep plugging away.
Need a response. If they're going to get something, they need a response now. They've got 10 minutes left to get back into this game. They need something to happen.
Riyadul again is the man. They're obviously looking for him.
Considering he has 3 stitches in his head, he's been a constant threat in the air. Definitely a gulf in physicality between the two teams. You can see that comfortably up here from the commentary box. Anytime there's a shoulder put on a Bangladesh player, they're struggling to live up with the strength. Live with it, rather.
They've only made the one change. That was in the first half. Only comfortable now, of course. Osongo with a poor ball in. For all intents and purposes, it looks like it will be Burundi against Palestine, the two highest ranked teams in this tournament. Yes, Bangladesh do something very, very special here. Riyadul launches that towards Ibrahim, who's now on this right-hand side.
Well, this has been the best performance we've seen from Burundi, without a shadow of a doubt. Defensively been much better. In an attack, constantly carried a threat. And little balls over the top like that. Bangladesh defence has been good. It's been careless at times, just some passes and some touches, just allowed to be going a little bit astray. You've snapped up the opportunities they've been given.
Nice ball forward, really nice ball from Bishwanath. Up to Saad, that's got to be a foul.
Saad's done really well there. All of the time, he knows he's the slower of the two, but he just keeps his body in front. Does very well there in winning the free kick. It's clever play.
Cynical, perhaps.
Naive, I think. Naive, I think. I'd much rather give props to side for some clever play there chasing the ball. Yeah, takes his yellow.
Andikumana is off. Kelvin Bizimana comes on for a little cameo. Well, I would have thought Unga Boziza is the one who probably needs the rest out of the two. The work he's done! Oh, it's just not going in, is it, for Bangladesh today? Riyadul can't believe it. Even a consolation is being denied.
Come on, goalkeeper. There's just no need for that whatsoever. He receives the ball quite comfortably. I mean, how he manages to keep it out. He's fine there. All of a sudden kicks the ball out, then collapses.
Frustration Not sure he knew too much about it, but he reacted well. And as Simon said, as soon as he got up, he kicked the ball out and went down. That's what frustrates many people.
And I have to remind myself to just bite my tongue. There's a lot of people listening. Coach of this game. It's those little things that just get you back up. You're trying to get ahead of steam. There's an opportunity there because obviously we know goalkeepers, the game has to stop when goalkeepers get injured. With others, the referee makes a decision, should we be stopping it, should we play on? Goalkeepers, they don't leave the pitch, so they're at liberty to just slow the game down. Last 10 minutes, stay on the ground. And we see a lot of especially supporters leaving now. 10 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, this is the world over, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because they've had such good chances.
Yeah, it's not for lack of trying, and there've been some decent attempts. I mean, he's, or whatever we say about this, he's actually had a pretty good game. He's made some important saves today, hasn't he, Nzizo?
However he goes about it, probably quite unconventionally, he keeps it out of the net. That's the important thing. Look, he saves that with his backside, and then he's quick enough to just scoop it off the line.
Anywhere to the left or right of him, that goes in.
Yeah. You just get the feeling it's not going to be Bangladesh's day. It's just not going for them.
They have scored goals for fun. That's now 10 in this tournament. There is the new man in, Buzimana. Actually swapped, hasn't he? With Bangabandhu, who's now gone onto the left-hand side. Here he is. I think Simon's made the point that this is probably the most disciplined, the most organised they have looked so far. They've tempered a little bit of that attacking. They've still scored 3 goals.
I think Burundi have been fair play to them. We've been saying that they're erratic, they're a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know what sort of team's going to show up. But I have to say they've been excellent today. They've approached the task with discipline. They've not really given too many chances, or were not clear-cut chances anyway. And for me, as difficult it is to say, they're good money for their win. Just be a little bit more expansive going forward. Just as we see a little break here, possibly. But again, snuffed out. That kind of sums it up.
Another cameo from Manu, who's made little appearances. Other cameos. Chevy Brandon is going to get a little go. Tambwe, I think we've barely said Tambwe's name in this game. That's probably the frustrating thing. They've kept him quiet today. The big danger man, but not in Shamiri Mana.
Walks off the pitch with more goals to his tally. Been a constant threat. Much more of a threat in this game than he was in the last game. I think the coach has seen that and switched him to that wider position we were talking about. And look at the return he gets.
Off the ball. Bit frustrating for Ibrahim. Frustrating for the other Bangladesh players. Mabubur gets a yellow card. Oh, hold on. It was Mabubur with the initial challenge, but it was Bishwanath. Now that did not hit his face at all.
He's just making sure that we all know that there was a foul there and just taking the sting out, taking a couple more minutes where he doesn't have to run around.
Just a little debate as to who has got the card. It is Mabubur, but I tell you what, if the referee's missed seeing perhaps what Bishwanath did, could have easily been a red. Unless he was saying it was momentum that carried him forward. Oh, that doesn't look like momentum. That looks deliberate.
I'd have to agree with you there. He looks down at him as he does it. There's jumping out the way and accidentally you stand on someone, and then there's looking down and planting the foot in their chest.
A little bit unsavoury just towards the end here. Bangladesh understandably frustrated, but they need to keep their discipline. That is not a facial injury. I can just assure you that now. Seen that very clearly, that it isn't. The last couple of minutes plus some added time, but there is a heavy air of resignation here now at the Bangabandhu National Stadium. Here's Rakib, who had that golden opportunity to make it 2-1, and right up the other end we saw Burundi score. Good ball in, but side off the crossbar. I thought that was a sail over. Just dropped, didn't it?
That's the difference. For Palestine last night, that drops in the back of the net. That's the difference between the two teams. For all of the good stuff that Bangladesh have done, and they've put some good moves together, just haven't had that little bit of luck that helps them out. And to be fair to Burundi, they've been clinical. They've not created too much, but what they have created has ended up in goals. Well, it's a clever little header.
Here's Jamal. Simon, as we wrap up towards the end of this game now, your thoughts on Bangladesh and how they've been, not just in this match but throughout the tournament?
I think they've played well without threatening too much. I think that's the biggest compliment I can give them. They've probably been the best balanced team that we've seen.
Yeah.
But it's fairly obvious from watching the games, they really struggle with an out-and-out striker. They struggle with someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. And to be fair to Jamie, he said that before the tournament. He said that they struggle for strikers. Such is the setup of the league that most of the strikers that play domestically are all foreign. Tactic is a 4-3-3, which means that lead striker is always a single foreign guy on his own. So, yeah, I can see the difficulties. I can see the frustration. Positives to be really
been
taken,
put to the sword
here
by
a really been good Burundi performance. Something good Burundi performance. Something expected. Have to say,
I thought that Bangladesh got this goal 2 game and goal 2 Burundi game, adjusted was Burundi adjusted better than probably we gave them credit for. Finding up there, Riado. By the way, Brandon Chevy has just come on for Songo. Just on those set pieces, every single ball, every single one has been aimed at this man.
No, they don't have many choices. You look around, and with losing Topu, I think that's had a big influence on this game. Topu was their #1 target man in their previous games for all of their set pieces. He got his head on a lot of things. They've only now got one target, and he has 3 stitches in his eyebrow. So it's a shame, but I think Topu would have had more of an effect on how they utilised these set pieces in this game, and arguably carried more of a threat going forward.
The substitute in Buzimana. Leave us with a rather mouth-watering affair coming up.
Looked a little bit awkward there. Both players just concentrating on the ball.
Palestine up against Palestine, under par, undercooked Palestine up against, you'd have to say, a pretty rampant Burundi. I think this could be, again, 50-odd places in the FIFA rankings. We say sometimes a little too much stock put in that, but there is a clear gulf between them, and yet I think that's going to be a really fascinating affair.
There should be a clear gulf between them. In terms of how they play the game, we would expect one to be comfortably technically better. But if we see a performance like we've seen from Burundi tonight, which is very efficient with their time, very efficient with their finishing, we've seen Palestine under par pretty much since the opening day. So if we continue to see the same, any reason why Burundi can't take it to them?
Struggle for goals, a struggle for fluency, haven't they, Palestine? That's not a problem that Burundi have had. Very good game to watch. Point of view, of course, you want to see the hosts always in the final for the atmosphere. Two best teams, I think, on balance of play, Simon, are into the final, aren't they?
Yeah, Yeah, I think so. Based on Burundi's performance tonight, yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I think they've been excellent. They've
Brandon Chubby. Oh, overhit that for Tambwe.
Might have just got his goal there, but and I don't see any reason why Bangladesh should put the ball out if Burundi don't for their own man.
Can get a consolation would be nice for the crowd. Jamal Bouyan. Amanul. Jamal is going to go for goal. And the keeper, sometimes he pulls off those kind of very odd.
Listen, I think this goalkeeper needs, on his way home, stop at a newsagent's and buy some lottery tickets, because he's just palmed that up in the air, laid on the ground, and it's dropped into his hands. You just don't see that. It's a good shot. Unconventional goalkeeping, but gets away with it.
The final whistle has gone. A number of Bangladesh players just looking disconsolate. We were hoping for another fairy tale, perhaps, or the first fairy tale after Seychelles were unlucky against Palestine, but it wasn't to be tonight, Simon McMenemy.
No, I think Burundi very much surprised us with a very well-organised, very offensive, yet with one kind of tip of their hat towards their defence. They've improved defensively. I think with a performance like that, they've got nothing to worry about from Palestine. It will really cause them some problems.
Yes, it's been a much better overall display from this Burundi side that showed a little bit more discipline at the back. Bangladesh were plucky, but they struggled in that final third and trying to get goals in this game, and they maybe didn't create enough actual proper real opportunities.
No, I think the chances they did have were fairly clear-cut when they dropped to them by one way or another, but Burundi defensively good and taking their chances going forward. Bangladesh allowed a few opportunities. Burundi capitalised, and when Bangladesh had their opportunities, skying them over the crossbar and finding a goalkeeper who was, well, let's give credit to him, he stopped everything. Hook or by crook, he got his hands on it.
They've only conceded 2 goals. This is the team that we were talking about, a lack of defensive discipline, but they've only conceded 2 in 3 games. And they're celebrating as they make their way into the final, and there are these stats for you. Again, you can see Bangladesh had more chances, and we're not even including the shots off target.
No, I think possession-wise, they came back into it in the second half. They tried to raise the tempo. But I think that lack of quality in those final areas, and certainly having a lead striker or someone who plays as a classic out-and-out striker, really did end up hurting them.
So let's take you back to the story of this game. Bangladesh came up with so much hope, and it was a little bit of undoing here. Right at the end of the first half, Ungamoziza and Nchimirimana combined superbly twice in as many minutes.
Yeah, right up until that point, that was the first bit of quality we'd probably seen in the game. Ungamoziza, a real threat every time he went forward. Only the first time he got forward, but a quality delivery in. And again, sloppy play around the edge of the box from Bangladesh. This was their undoing. Ungamoziza picking a player out, and there was Nishimara with that cracking header. I mean, a really difficult, I can't stress how difficult that is. A really well-taken goal.
Yeah, he was superb in that. Well, Bangladesh came out really fired up, and San ought to have scored here.
These are the chances, and how many times have you seen his opposite player, Nishimara, in front of goal? How many times do you see him punishing them and putting that ball away? Unfortunately, Saad on this occasion hitting it straight at the keeper.
Now, there was Mababor as well in a really good position, not spotted. Well, they had the odd opportunity as well, Burundi, but this was an important save by Ashraful off Tambwe.
Didn't really have a lot to do. It's not like he was being peppered at all. Did make a good save, came out nice and big, stood up, was able to make the save, and was quick enough just to put Tambwe off that second touch.
Another opportunity here that, again, could have gone absolutely anywhere, but not the best of shots perhaps from Musaga.
No, one of few actual opportunities they had on goal in the second half. But very effective with their finishing, you have to say.
Well, when it wasn't the keeper who was saving Burundi, it was the woodwork, Simon.
They must have hit the woodwork 3 times, 4 times. There's one off the outside of the post. They had one off the crossbar late on.
Another opportunity here. And this was yet another chance. Again, point blank range, but straight at Ashraful.
Yeah, this secondary touch here just took it actually towards the keeper instead of away from it.
This again was a wonderful little pass in from Tambwe to Nchimurimana.
Well, he didn't do much in the game, Tambwe, but when he springs up and puts little balls like that in behind, he's always a danger. And